Thank you very much for joining me for this special edition of Amazon Sellers News, where we're going to be focusing on used sold as new, because we are seeing a dramatic increase in sellers losing their listings and sellers losing their accounts. We're also seeing a dramatic increase at the speed in which we are winning these cases and getting sellers reinstated and also getting listings. This is a listing suspension issue, and this is an account suspension issue. And this is a listing suspension issue and also an account suspension issue. So I brought David Miller, one of our killer managing attorneys, on for today's breaking news. And let's go right into You Sold As New, David. And when we're done, I'm going to tell you about the latest news about improving patented products so you can sell them, and also the latest on notice dispute. But first, we're going to talk about breaking news when it comes to used sold as new. So David, first thing I want to talk about is avoiding used sold as new by reviewing and following Amazon condition guidelines.
Yes, you should always check your condition guidelines. You should make sure that when you're selling, if you are selling it's used or maybe damaged, make sure to advertise it as used.
Now, the next thing we want to go into are proper listings. If your listings are proper, like dead on proper, you're going to avoid a lot of these used sold as new listing and account suspensions. And manufacturer quality, quote unquote, manufacturer quality is absolutely vital. David, what is meant by manufacturer quality when an Amazon seller is getting on a listing or creating a listing?
It means that you're selling the product exactly as the manufacturer does. So you're selling it in the same parts, the same accessories, the plastic is around the product is exactly the same as soon as it leaves the manufacturer's warehouse.
If you want to avoid used sold as new problems or get your accounts back, this is vital. If it comes with certain parts, if it comes with certain accessories, you can't split them up or you're going to get dinged with used sold as new. So accessories, plastic around the product, everything's got to be exactly the same. Now, detailed invoices. What are we recommending to sellers all over the world to avoid these suspensions and to get their accounts back? What do we need on those invoices?
The biggest thing is to make sure that your supplier has at least a bit of an online presence so Amazon can verify it. If your supplier is nowhere to be found on the internet, they're likely going to search Google. If it's not there, it's a lot more difficult to appeal.
Okay, so when you're check out your source's website, make sure they have a website. It's best if that website is somehow linked back to the manufacturer. And we get back to the invoices, if there can be SKUs on those invoices, UPC codes on those invoices, that helps tremendously. And we are successful. We have tremendous success on these types of suspensions, both listing as an account. These are the tools that we use. Okay, now, I'm now going to get into and give you the breaking news on what's working today, what's working this week to win these cases and get your accounts back. So we talked about detailed invoices. Now, David, how do we demonstrate to Amazon in our plans of action that the supplier has an online presence?
So we want to show that there is some sort of connection to the brand. It always helps when, of course, if they're authorized themselves, we can show some sort of documentation. An authorization letter is very helpful. Not necessary, but I think it puts Amazon at ease when we can show that, because they can say, okay, look, the brand is associated with the supplier and it's easier to reinstate it.
Now, if you can't get or you don't have an authorization letter from the manufacturer, but your supplier does, you want to see if you can get a copy of that. We've been very successful at obtaining those, but we will reach out to the suppliers ourselves, explain that we help thousands of sellers every single year, and sometimes we can even refer other sellers to the same supplier, and you try and get a copy of that supplier's authorization from the brand, and we use that. Now, another thing we're finding very successful is turning off returns. David, how are we using turning off returns in successful plans of action when it comes to you sold as new?
So Amazon has a feature called returning repackaged returns. So essentially, when a customer buys a product, they return it for any reason, Amazon has a system where they can repackage it for you and resell it. We found that that generates a lot of you sold as new complaints. Quickest way of avoiding it is turn off repackaged returns.
So this is actually a twofold tip for Amazon sellers. sellers. If you have returns, if you're letting Amazon's warehouse people make the decision about whether to put your product back in the stream of commerce, get rid of that, turn it off. And if you do get suspended for used sold as new, this is one of the few arguments where Amazon will often accept blame, where you can argue when you sent it in it was perfect and pictures tell the story better than words if you have them. But Amazon will accept the blame and then turn it off in your plan of action. Okay, next thing, David, and I was really surprised to learn this, and I learn every day from our team of lawyers and paralegals by meeting with them every single day and getting the 10,000-foot view. But we've seen Amazon accept responsibility, cross out the negative feedback, and yet still demand a plan of action.
Correct. We've seen it time and time again. You may have noticed on your Seller Central account, sometimes the feedback is crossed out. That's when Amazon is taking fault for it. Interestingly enough, we still have seen listings suspended when our clients don't have any negative feedback that Amazon claims is our client's fault. They're taking the blame themselves. So one way of, to get to our next point, one way of kind of addressing this is to review the general feedback to see what other types of complaints possibly could have caused this, and we even put the blame on FBA, on Amazon themselves in the plan of action.
So unlike every other scenario, or most scenarios where you as a seller need to take responsibility and put in your plan of action how you're going to become a better seller, in this particular issue, when it comes to used sold as new, and you are using Amazon to determine which goods go back into commerce, you can point out that you believe it's an FBA issue, but also simultaneously opt out and turn off the returns, okay? Absolutely vital, and David hit the nail on the head. Look at your feedback. Look at to see what is causing a problem. Okay, that is the latest and greatest information on used sold as new. Avoid these issues and get your accounts and listings back quickly if you do have a used sold as new issue. Now, I want to talk to you very briefly about a couple of other breaking news stories. Improving a patented product and then selling it as your own. What I want sellers to do, if this is your business model, is make sure you are checking out Google Patents. It's a really, really great tool. And then you want to make sure that whatever improvements you're making to that product pass what's called the Egyptian goddess test. We got this information exactly from Amazon's in-house counsel. This is what they use. This is what we argued to their in-house counsel. You can look it up on our blog, the Egyptian goddess test, and it's basically the duck test. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So make sure your changes are significant enough that your product is different and therefore not violating the patent, and we are available to help you do this analysis. Breaking news story, our third breaking news story of the day. This is going to be the final news story. Notice dispute at Amazon.com. Yesterday we reported that the responses from Notice Dispute are just coming in slower than ever, but what we are getting, what David updated me about, is when they are responding, they're asking for more specific information than ever before. So it's good and it's bad. It's really bad that they're just waiting. It takes days to get a response from Notice Dispute. On the other side of the coin, it's really great that they're finally identifying what it is they're looking for. So that's the breaking news story for today, Tuesday, August 6th.
6th, yep.
Today, Tuesday, August 6th, 2019, used sold as new, how to avoid the suspensions, how we get your accounts back and your listings back every single day, improving a patented product so you don't violate someone else's intellectual property rights, and Notice Dispute is slow, but at least they're asking for specific issues. Dave, thank you very much for joining me for today's Amazon Sellers News, and here is your call of action. Share this video and like this video. Okay, join me again tomorrow for Amazon Sellers News. I look forward to sharing with sellers all over the world the information that we have by helping thousands of sellers all over the world, tens of thousands of listings, and most importantly, we save tens of thousands of jobs every single year. Thanks again.